Hey guys, and welcome back to Wide Open Water. Today I'm going to do a quick video and show you what is inside my spring tackle box for crappie. It's not very big, but I have some pretty fun lures in there. So let's get to it. The first lure or style of lure I'm going to talk about is kind of just your basic jigs. I really like to use anything from a 16th ounce to a 1/32. Once you start getting up to the 1/8 ounce, it gets to be a little bit too heavy for the crappie. And for any color of the jigs that I like to use, I really like pink, white, kind of anything that really is just going to stand out. Chartreuse is really good. So basically right here we have some jigs with feather on them. I'm not really going to discuss brands at all. Occasionally this with like kind of a flashaboo is really good. It's pink with kind of a white and silver. And then also your regular bucktail jigs are also very good. This one right here is just white, and I actually tied it myself. I'm probably going to have to trim off a little bit more, just because it's getting to be a little bit too big, I think, for crappie. But if there's a big one and it's very aggressive, it would probably eat it. Also, for some jigs that I like to use are these kind of jig heads with a spinner under them. They're very good for searching. If you let it sink down in kind of an open water situation and you just reel it in, there's no reason that a crappie wouldn't come and hammer this. It's a great search bait, like I said, and other species other than crappie will eat these. So they're very fun, and it's one of my favorite spring baits to use. They come in multiple different sizes. You got green, but I actually prefer this one in more of a natural color. They sell a black and kind of white one, and that's a really good color. You also can't go wrong with beetle spins. It's basically like a small spinner bait for bass, but it's more designed for crappie. So essentially all you have is just the jig head, the spinner there, and it's just on this really light wire bracket. And at times, if you want, you can actually just throw the jig head without the spinner on there. And this has actually been very successful and productive for me in past years. One last type of jig, slash I guess plastic that I'm going to talk about here, is a tube jig. I really like these minnow style tube jigs that have the eye on them. I feel like they work better than just like your regular small tube jigs that come in they sell packs of these that come in like 32 different colors, which those are great. I'm not knocking those at all, but I really like these minnow profile tube jigs. Let's see, what else do we have in here? So right now I'm kind of digging into lures that I used more in my ice fishing season. These small crankbaits, or else lipless crankbaits here, are from Rapala. I have a bunch of different varieties of colors. They're all tangled together. But these are really good for spring and winter. This chartreuse color is probably going to be one of my favorites this spring. I just like the chartreuse and the orange belly. If there's any stain to the water, that's going to be pretty good. Otherwise, if we go more natural and clear water, this silver one will be a really good bait profile. So crappies essentially for these rip and wraps, I feel like I end up catching some larger and some better quality fish. It's a larger minnow presentation, and usually a more aggressive fish is going to end up eating that bait. One other bait that I have is just a small blade bait. These that work pretty well for crappies. You got to make sure to have really light line. If you end up going too heavy with these blade baits, the bait won't put off the proper vibration, or it won't work at all. Some lures that I really want to try this year that I haven't used before is, if I can get them untangled, is some small crankbaits. So right here I have a more of a floating style. It's like an F4, F3, something like that from Rapala. I want to try that this spring, and I also have more of a sinking style presentation. That's kind of like a jerk bait. I've heard that these presentations or lures work really well for the crappies in the spring, but it's just something that I've never done, but I want to try doing it this spring. Some other lures that I want to try out this spring is kind of this Acme Hyperglide. So this one is the really light presentation that you can just kind of hover in one spot, and these little wings come out off the side. I'm not sure if you guys can see that, but it flaps almost as if the fish is breathing, like the gills are pumping. And I think if I get onto a really big school of crappies, this could be really deadly for them and get me on some big fish. They come in a large variety of colors. This is might be getting a little big for the crappies, but I probably will try it out. If you want something that is going to be able to get down there a little faster, because these hyperglides, can take a little longer to get down to the depth that you're targeting, even though they do have this little rubber tail there that you just strap the, not strap, but your line will go through it so it falls down more vertically. Just a regular jig and wrap from Rapala. This is probably the smallest size you can get. I think it's a 1/32 ounce, but this thing's just going to drop down there really quick on the fish. That's about it for the lures that I would probably use this spring. Another deadly presentation is just using any teardrops with wax worms or any form of live bait. Crappie minnows are going to be really deadly on slip bobbers this time of year. And I'm sure there's probably 100 different styles of baits that people are going to be using that I probably don't personally use. This year I really want to try getting a more diverse selection of lures for crappie this year. So if you have a lure that you want me to try out or recommend that I should try using this spring, comment down below. Other than that, guys, thank you for watching, and I really appreciate you guys taking the time to watch this short video. There'll be more videos to be coming. I might talk about some walleye lures for the spring that I like. I guess if there's a different type of fish that you want me to talk about in the future, or how I target them, comment that down below as well. But once again, guys, I'm Camden Droppa with Wide Open Water. I'll catch you later.